A compressor package is perfectly designed, fully tested, and shipped to site. But during installation, piping doesn't match, cables cannot be connected, and commissioning gets delayed. Why does this happen? Not because of design failure, but because of poor interface management. In this video, I will explain skid modularization and interfaces in a way every package engineer must understand. Slide 1. Why this matters. In modular projects, rotating equipment rarely fails during commissioning. However, most delays happen due to poor interface definition between skids and plant systems. Interface management is one of the most critical responsibilities of a package engineer. If interfaces are not clearly defined, it leads to rework, delays, and coordination issues across multiple disciplines. Slide 2. What is skid modularization? Skid modularization means dividing a complete system into smaller factory-built modules. These modules are assembled, tested, and then transported to site for final integration. For example, a compressor system may be divided into a main skid, lube oil skid, seal gas panel, and instrument panel. This approach reduces site work and improves quality, but increases the importance of interface coordination. Slide 3. Benefits of modularization. Modular construction offers several advantages. Factory assembly ensures better quality because it is done in a controlled environment. Project timelines are reduced because fabrication and civil work happen in parallel. Field risks are minimized because most testing is completed before shipment. However, all these benefits depend on proper interface management. Slide 4. Interface types. In a rotating equipment package, there are three main types of interfaces. Fluid interfaces involve process piping and utilities. Electrical interfaces involve power supply and grounding. Instrumentation interfaces involve signals and control systems. Each of these must be clearly defined and coordinated. Slide 5. Fluid interfaces. Fluid interfaces include suction and discharge piping, lube oil connections, cooling water lines, seal gas supply, drains, vents, and instrument air. Each connection must match plant piping specifications and must be accessible for installation and maintenance. Improper fluid interface design often leads to misalignment and piping stress. Slide 6. Fluid best practices. To avoid problems, you must clearly define battery limits between vendor and EPC scope. Flanged connections should be provided so that the skid can be removed without cutting pipes. Piping flexibility must be ensured to handle thermal expansion and vibration. All connections must be accessible, and tagging must match between vendor and plant drawings. One of the most common failures is flange misalignment due to poor coordination. Slide 7. Electrical interfaces. Electrical interfaces include motor power supply, MCC connections, earthing, and auxiliary systems like heaters and lighting. A clear boundary must be defined between vendor scope and plant electrical scope. Proper grounding and cable routing are essential for safe operation. Slide 8. Electrical best practices. Terminal strips should be used as clear interface points between vendor and EPC. Cable entry directions must be planned during design to avoid conflicts with structure or piping. Earthing connections must be properly designed and accessible. A common mistake is incorrect motor terminal box orientation, which blocks cable installation. Slide 9. Instrument interfaces. Instrumentation interfaces include analog signals, digital signals, shutdown signals, and communication systems. Each signal must be clearly defined with cable specifications and termination points. An I/O list must be prepared to track all signals crossing the skid boundary. Also, safety systems must be kept separate from control systems as per IEC standards. Slide 10. Modularization decisions. Deciding how to split modules depends on several factors. Transport limitations such as road width and crane capacity must be considered. Weight limits, maintenance access, vibration isolation, and future expansion must also be evaluated. These decisions are typically made during the early design stage. Slide 11. Integrated vs. split skid. In an integrated skid, everything is combined into one unit, which reduces interfaces but increases transport challenges. In a split skid, modules are separated, making transport easier but increasing the number of connections. The choice depends on project requirements and constraints. Slide 12. Documentation. Proper documentation is essential for interface management. This includes battery limit diagrams, interface responsibility matrices, I/O lists, GA drawings, PNIDs, and cable schedules. All documents must match each other. Even a small mismatch can lead to major site issues. Slide 13, pre-commissioning check. Before startup, all interfaces must be verified. Mechanical connections must be checked for proper torque and leakage. Electrical connections must be tested for continuity and insulation. Instrument signals must be verified through loop checks. Grounding must be confirmed, and utilities must meet required conditions. A full interface walkdown must be done before commissioning. Slide 14, interview and final takeaway. In interviews, you should clearly explain what skid modularization is and why interface management is critical. You should mention fluid, electrical, and instrumentation interfaces, and explain how they are coordinated. And remember this key principle. Modularization improves efficiency, but success depends entirely on how well interfaces are defined and managed. If you want to become a strong package engineer, you must learn how to manage interfaces across multiple disciplines. Like this video, subscribe for deep engineering knowledge, and comment skid if you want real project case studies. See you in the next video.